Captain's log, subdate 200714.9. Around 50% of the order has been unpacked, and the inventory seems accurate, except for the poxy stink pellets that appear to be crushed that I keep finding in those boxes. They bear a very familiar logo. Sith. Welcome everyone to the Halls of Injustice. This was last week's video, by the way, but the Tom Main subject intrigued me enough that I rewrote accordingly because, seriously, that stuff was interesting. You might notice we're not using the pod. There's a reason for that. A couple of days ago, while using my 3D printer to remove something from the base, the spatula slipped and impaled my right hand. We treated it and it was fine, but today it has blown up and is quite uncomfortable. I have a hospital appointment later, where I have no doubt I'll be prescribed penicillin. So editing is quite tricky with the mouse since I use my right hand to use the mouse, hence the still, again, I'm very sorry. Today we are going to be talking about Saffiya Shaikh, formerly Michelle Ramsden. She converted, I'm going to be calling her Saffiya from now on because I'm not entirely sure of the pronunciation of her last name. It is spelt similar to that of the Iron Sheik, but with an A instead of the E. By all means, correct me in the comments or the Premiere chat. Hi chat, this got demonetized the moment I said her name. Saffiya was born Michelle Ramsden in Hounslow, West London, and after some undercover cops got a bit close to her, she explained she wanted to do a piece of history and take out as many kuffar as possible in a day of carnage that she had planned across the capital city. In 2007, following an act of kindness by a neighbouring Muslim family, Michelle Ramsden converted to Islam. In 2015, she had been radicalised. Saffiya ran a chat room which was dedicated to martyrs and followers. Around the same time, she was also addicted to heroin. Just an FYI, her piece of history was that she wanted to become the UK's first female suicide bomber. Why some are so deluded as to think this works when it hasn't before astonishes me. The number of those in this country, Muslims included, that would think you to be a martyr are an incredibly low number. The rest of the United Kingdom would think you're a rat who didn't have the balls to take accountability for their actions. And when you are remembered, you'll be remembered for causing harm and not for effecting any meaningful change. It's like people don't remember the past. When during World War II, the city of London was being bombed, did people hide and say, maybe Germany are right? No. Do you know what they thought? I've got to go to work in the morning. In August 2019, Saffiya had been arrested at Luton Airport under Schedule 7 of the Terrorism Act 2000, as her ticket had been bought by a wife of an ISIS martyr. She subsequently lost her passport and was then banned from travelling. This is what got the police's attention originally. When speaking to an undercover officer, she said, "So this is really what I want, but I would like to kill a lot, brother, until I'm killed. This is what I really want, God permitting. I am ready for paradise, but I want to do big things, God willing." She then went on to show and share images of Charles and Diana's wedding at St. Paul's Cathedral, writing that if I had choice, I'd blow the church to the ground with kuffar in it. I won't start planning. I am serious about this. It's not only words, brother. I want action and revenge deep from my heart. Earlier I mentioned and made reference to Sri Lanka bombings. On Easter Day last year, 259 people were killed, and Saffiya's intention was to strike the cathedral when it was full. Granted, this year would not have been possible, what with the whole, coronavirus. And even now, with social distancing, the numbers would be much lower, and you'd be much more easily noticeable. Alison Morgan, the prosecutor, described her as a violent extremist who had pledged her support for ISIS in a written oath on pink note paper, with Saffiya giving the impression she was ready, in fact desperate, to launch an attack. During the trial, Saffiya showed zero remorse. Saffiya showed zero guilt. In fact, she had tried to tell everyone that she got cold feet, but this had been busted as nothing more than a pathetic lie after she had bragged via a prison phone to a mate, that was recorded for training purposes of course, that it was a lie. Saffiya was snared by undercover officers last year as she planned to plant the 2 explosive devices in central London In an encrypted chat with an undercover officer last August, she said she would rather die young and get to paradise at the quickest way possible, also stating, "I always know I want to do something big. Killing another infidel is not enough for me," with her expressing a desire to target a church or somewhere historical on a day like Christmas or Easter, to then cause more harm. In September of last year, she revealed her plan to stay in a hotel near St. Paul's, then check out the cathedral and take photos like a tourist, photos of which, with security cameras in the cathedral, showed she had in fact scouted the location. On September 24th, she met the fake explosive expert's wife in Uxbridge to hand over her bags, and on October 13th, the female undercover officer cancelled a second meeting, with the police then making their way to Saffiya's flat to arrest her. They played her for a fool, and they played her very well. Good job, officers. To go back to when Saffiya said she had cold feet, she had told the police that the reason why she didn't turn up on the day was that she was doing drugs, with her saying she would have arranged another appointment with them. That day she just didn't wake up in time, and that is the truth. Yes, she's quite the truth-teller, as you can all tell. Saffiya pled guilty to preparing acts of terrorism and disseminating terrorist publications. But I'll be honest with you, it did her no favours whatsoever. Her defending lawyer Ben Newton described her life as one of pain and loneliness, and that she suffered a truly traumatic childhood, and that she didn't want to blow up a church of people, she just wanted friends. Does this stuff actually work? Commander Richard Smith, who is the head of counter-terrorism at Scotland Yard, said Saffiya was clearly dangerous. She was spreading vile directives for mass murder across the world and also planning her own horrific attack on UK soil. I am pleased to say that we were able to identify her plans, assess her intent, and then lay before her the evidence of her criminality resulting in the guilty pleas. Concluding, Saffiya was dedicated to her extremist beliefs. In addition to wanting to carry out her own sickening attack on UK soil, she hoped to inspire others to implement attack plans, even after she had died. Every day, including during the pandemic, the National Counter-Terrorism Police Network is continuing to fight terrorism. I urge the public to help us by reporting anything at all suspicious to the police. So what is the sentence? Justice Sweeney sentenced Saffiya to life in prison, with a minimum of 14 years, along with 8 years to run concurrently for running the chat room that arranged all of the terror attacks. Oof, that is quite the sentence. I'm now going to give you my sentence. Life, without the possibility of parole. And you cemented that when you made a hand gesture that is well renowned for being associated with ISIS, which is the icing on the cake of damning statements that you are not showing a single shred of remorse for what you have done and what you had planned to do, under the guise of being lonely. I get loneliness, by the way. I think many people do. Some do turn to religion. Yes, they do. Others find hobbies. Others take proactive stances to try and achieve more. You were a mother. Those kids are now going to grow up without a mother because the mother was such an extremist she chose her beliefs over them, and in doing so has damaged them as well. You should be ashamed of yourself because what you did and what you had planned to do was utterly sickening. While your defense were right to point out it was a cry for attention, it was still a disgusting attempt at a crime. And I think the sentence, while a bit on the soft side, at least if you don't show any remorse within those 14 years, will be extended for the rest of it. With what we cover here, and with Saffiya, I would love to know what you think. Please do let me know in the comments down below. Fingers crossed my hand is semi-back to normal tomorrow for the exhibition of stupid people. I should be hopefully also streaming on Twitch tonight, but I don't think I'll be able to do Assassin's Creed 2 as I had planned, so instead it'll probably be more fishing. If I don't see you there tonight on Twitch, have a cracking Wednesday, and thank you all for listening.
you.